Wars series slash franchise. I recently started watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, so it kind of inspired me to make this video. I figured it would be fun, and so I'm going to do that today, this evening. Keep in mind, this is not pre-screened, so I don't know what kind of facts are going to be read, so there could be spoilers. There could not be, I don't know, but just be warned. There may be spoilers for a 30-year-old movie, so you've been warned ahead of time. Anyway, let's get started. So, we'll see how things progress, but we'll start with this first article, and depending on how long it takes, we might do others. We'll see. This is 30 fun Star Wars facts that will make you more knowledgeable about a galaxy far away. I believe it's actually far, far away, if I'm not mistaken, but that's neither here nor there. So, Carrie Fisher refused to use modesty tape while filming in Jabba's palace. The Jabba Palace sequence in Return of the Jedi was hugely complex to film, with the scene involving 42 extras, 18 principal cast members, 10 puppeteers, 9 mime artists, and 90 crew members. No wonder then that it took an entire month to capture on film. Plus, to make matters worse, there was a famous gold bikini that wouldn't behave itself. Carrie Fisher refused to use tape to keep everything in place, which resulted in many sequences needing to be reshot because of the wardrobe malfunctions. Also, while we're talking about the Return of the Jedi, did you know the Death Star 2 was 460% larger than the first one seen in A New Hope? Harrison Ford broke his ankle, and J.J. Abrams broke his back trying to save him. Harrison Ford famously broke his ankle on the set of The Force Awakens in 2014 after one of the Falcon's hydraulic doors slammed down on his leg. What you perhaps didn't know, however, is that J.J. Abrams broke his back while trying to rescue Ford. According to Vanity Fair, the director attempted to lift the door off Ford's ankle when he heard a popping sound. A few days later, Abrams visited a doctor and was told he had actually broken his back. Despite this, Abrams never told the cast and returned to work wearing a back brace. Rogue One wasn't always called Rogue One. Rogue One's naming has a curious history and remains the only Star Wars film where the title of the film is actually spoken as a line of dialogue. One of the alternative titles of the movie was Dark Times, but that was rejected shortly into pre-production. There was even an opening crawl to the movie, but it was never used. Rogue One is a military call sign to some extent, said director Gareth Edwards, adding that it was the first Star Wars movie that's gone off-piste and is not part of the saga or the Anakin story. Ewoks were never formally called Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. It's hard to imagine Return of the Jedi without Ewoks, but originally an army of Wookiees were intended to help out on Endor. In the end, Lucas opted to use a smaller furry animal instead, and so the Ewok was born. Interestingly, the word Ewok isn't actually mentioned at all in the film, though. So how did we learn about their name? Turns out the name appears in the script, the movie's end credits, and later other spin-off and promotional materials. We finally did get a Wookiee battle to remember, though, in Revenge of the Sith. James Bond had a cameo in The Force Awakens. Remember the scene in the Star Wars The Force Awakens where Rey uses the Force to free herself from Kylo Ren intense interrogation chair. Well, underneath that stormtrooper garb is Daniel Craig, the actor best known for playing James Bond. Speaking in an interview during July 2015, Craig said, "Why would I ever bother doing something like that? Fucking hell, playing extra in another movie." However, it was none other than Shaun of the Dead's Simon Pegg who let the cat out of the bag, telling the Sun, "I wasn't a stormtrooper." Daniel Craig, he was a stormtrooper, for adding, "I shouldn't have said that." So, there you go. That's pretty funny. Yoda was almost played by a monkey. According to the book, The Making of Star Wars by J. White Rinsler, George Lucas originally planned for Yoda to be played by an adorable monkey wearing a mask and carrying a cane. Boba Fett's face is actually visible in the original movies. You may think you never see Boba Fett's face in the original trilogy, but the actor who played Fett, Jeremy Bulloch, did stand in for an Imperial officer at the last minute. I have a bad feeling about this became a running gag for the franchise. The phrase, "I have a bad feeling about this," or "I have a very bad feeling about this," is said in every Star Wars movie. Return of the Jedi almost had a very different ending. In a story development session for Return of the Jedi, George Lucas toyed with the idea that after Luke removes dying Vader's helmet, he puts it on, proclaims, "Now I am Vader," and turns to the dark side. Which, that would have been a really cool twist. I think. I mean, that's something they should have done with the, resurrection of the series, the reboot, so to speak. But, it's being geared towards kids, right? So they're not going to do something that's going to blow the minds of adults. The money is going to be in rebooting the series and getting new children to like the series and the show and the characters. So you can't, you can't really mess with that formula when you're looking at it from that kind of perspective. NSYNC nearly had a cameo in Attack of the Clones. Boy band NSYNC made a cameo in Attack of the Clones at the request of George Lucas's daughter. They were edited out of the final cut. Bye, Justin Timberlake. Oh god, that was so corny. Come on. Yoda has no determined species. Yoda's species has never been named. A mystery it is. Yoda is not a Muppet. Legendary Muppeteer Frank Oz voiced Yoda, and Jim Henson oversaw his creation. But he was built by a member of Lucasfilm, so don't expect to see him at Kermit's holiday party. Depending on what movie you're watching, Yoda has a different number of toes. In Phantom Menace, Yoda has 3 toes, but in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Revenge of the Sith, he has 4. There are no female fighter pilots in the original trilogy. Even though female fighter pilots were in the original screenplay, they were removed from the final cut. Star Wars and 2001: A Space Odyssey share almost the exact same production crew. George Lucas admired Stanley Kubrick, and when he set out to make Star Wars, he hired so many people who worked on 2001: A Space Odyssey that the group was referred to as the Class of 2001. The Star Wars prequels used computer animation to create legions of clone troopers. No physical suits of armor was ever built for the clone troopers in the prequels. Every single clone trooper was computer animated. Qui-Gon Jinn used a Gillette razor for his communicator. In Episode 1, the personal communicator used by Qui-Gon Jinn, I don't even remember if I'm saying his name right, if that's how you pronounce it, is actually made from a resin cast of a Gillette Ladies Sensor XL razor. Now that's smooth. E.T. was in the Phantom Menace, sort of. The alien race of E.T., the extraterrestrial, makes an appearance in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. A officially connecting the worlds of Lucas and Spielberg sci-fi. A senator and his delegation from planet Brodo Asagi are present in the Grand Convocation Chamber when Queen Amidala calls for a vote of no confidence. Ewoks speak Tibetian. Tibetian, yeah, I think that's right. The Ewok language is a national combination of Tibetan and Nepalese. David Lynch passed on directing Jedi. Acclaimed film director David Lynch passed when George Lucas asked him to direct Return of the Jedi. Darth Vader is banned from all official Star Wars events. David Prowse, the actor who portrayed Darth Vader in form, not voice, is banned from attending official Star Wars conventions because George Lucas finds him annoying. Oh boy. The sound of a TIE fighter engine is actually an elephant. The sound of a TIE fighter engine was created by combining an elephant bellow and a car driving on wet pavement. Yeah, and that's the thing with these old school movies, is a lot of the sounds are created by combining different noises, which is really cool. Chewbacca's voice is an eclectic mix of other animals. Chewbacca's voice is a mix of bears, walruses, lions, badgers, and other dying animals. The lightsaber noise comes from the familiar hum of an old television. The noise a lightsaber makes is created by combining the hum of an old television's picture tube and the buzz of a film projector's motor. Interesting. I always wondered how they came up with that sound. You can use Star Wars collectible coins as real money. The tiny South Pacific island of Niue accepts limited edition Star Wars collectible coins as legal tender. Liam Neeson was too tall for Star Wars. The sets for The Phantom Menace were only as tall as the actors, but they didn't account for 6'4" Liam Neeson. They had to rebuild all the door frames for Qui Jong Jin, which racked up an additional $150,000 in production costs. I had no idea Liam Neeson is that tall, by the way. There are enough fan tribute videos to recreate A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. There are shot-for-shot recreations of A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back made entirely of campy fan tribute videos. Jabba the Hutt was originally meant to be furry. Originally, Jabba the Hutt was not conceived as a grimy slug, but as a fuzzy creature. George Lucas left Directors Guild because of A New Hope. George Lucas paid a fine and resigned from the Directors Guild rather than start Episode 4 with a traditional credit sequence. The iconic opening credits were created in an unorthodox way. Filmmakers used a physical crawl to shoot the opening credits in the original films. Harrison Ford was almost Han Solo. Wasn't Han Solo, excuse me. He was Han Solo, duh. Burt Reynolds was among the top contenders to play Han Solo, along with Al Pacino, Jack Nicholson, and Christopher Walken. Al Pacino was going to play Han Solo. I don't know that I can see that. Jack Nicholson? Maybe. I guess. They were young, so I'm thinking of Al Pacino later on, and Christopher Walken, I'm thinking of him right now, so, yeah, I don't know what he looked like, Christopher Walken, when he was young. Jack Nicholson, maybe. I think Harrison Ford fits, though. Empire Strikes Back uses the most stop-motion animation. Of all the films in the franchise, Empire utilizes the most stop-motion animation. Cliff Clavin makes a cameo in Empire. Cheers and Toy Story actor John Ratzenberger has a brief appearance in Empire Strikes Back. He's the one who tells Han not to go out into the cold to look for Luke. Then he sits down for a beer with Norm. Han Solo almost died at the end of Jedi. Gary Kurtz, the original producer of Return of the Jedi said that in the early story outline, Han Solo dies, and Rebel forces are left in tatters, with Luke disappearing into the wilderness. But George Lucas thought killing off main characters would hurt toy sales. So, he changed the ending to a big Ewok party. Yep, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, I guess. I mean, you can't blame them for looking at toy sales and things like that. So, that's all of the facts I have for this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want me to do a continuation, let me know. I'm sure there's plenty of Star Wars facts that we have not gotten to. So, I actually had to switch the facts I was reading midway because the original article was just broken off. It was a weird website, lots of pop-up ads and viruses and stuff. Spam, just pure spam. So I switched. So this was a little bit shorter than I intended, but 16 minutes in, I think that's good enough to get you guys to fall asleep. That's about how long it takes me anyway. So I hope you enjoyed. And as always, keep doing your thing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, my friends. Have a good night.